I would say start, because we need to be on.
Yeah.
You mentioned feeding the animals this
Okay.
Okay.
Do I share this?
Yeah.
Does she?
one. Well, I don't know. I mean, up to you.
Go ahead. Not that you need to practice.
You ready?
Call our brand policy and appeals meeting to order, November 5th, 2025. I want a roll call.
Commissioner Leniger, Commissioner Schaefer,
Here.
Commissioner Stoll.
Present. Okay, we're up to approve the agenda. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. Schaefer, hope you're ready.
So moved.
Okay, I'll support that. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public comment. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so up to unfinished business. There's no items under unfinished business. So with new business, we're up to personnel policy manual.
So the first page there, page 2 of the packet, is a summary of the actual changes. And so they relate to the page within the book, not the packet. So if we want to go, one by one, we can, but also they're listed here. So these are, with the exception of the second one there, page 11, number 8, language required by our DVS contract, which is the victim services grant we have to serve seniors. Most of them are pretty brief and pretty simple. And this language for that one on page 11, number 8, is something that was given to us by the contract administrator. And we did have attorney review on it. It's what we've been requested to add for contract.
I say, yeah, I did see this. So, and we had our attorney check it out too. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you looked at it.
He looked at it a year ago. We had language in there a year ago that he did not like. We had to remove that language, and we did not have him re-review this language. What he had said last year was we had to define what adjudication meant.
Okay. As long as they're comfortable that we're not violating somebody's rights, but I do understand situations that can create. Right. I mean, if there is something like that comes up, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully it never comes up, but.
Yes, so for sure.
So if you look at the page previous to that, on page 10, we're just defining the lunch period. We had some requests to take lunch at the end of the day, in other words, leave early, things like that, and we felt it was necessary to define that.
Okay.
Page 14, clarifying when work time begins there. So if someone is assigned to work at a different work assignment, they get mileage, but this clarifies that they also get work time in addition to mileage from their residence if the distance is less as opposed to from their work base.
Okay.
And then the next one on 17. We have a policy for adjusting times. Someone in health education needs to be at an event that goes into 5:30, 6 o'clock. The staff member adjusts their time within the payroll, so they might come in late that morning, or they might come in late another day, or leave early another day. So adjusted time policy. We've always had in here that it's up to the director to approve those adjusted times. We want to make that available to the supervisors because they're the ones that are actually working directly with that staff member, modifying or adjusting their work time. And the director may not always know about, so it takes a lot longer. Makes more sense to allow the supervisor to make those adjustments and approve those adjustments. So that's that one, page 20. We are no longer going to have basic necessarily flex. So basic flex is a flexible spending plan and FSA. If you're familiar with plans like that, they, employees put money aside, they have to spend it by the end of the year or they lose it. And so we are still allowing that for dependent care, but no longer for medical care. So this updates all of this and just talks about flexible spending in general as opposed to naming a company. And because we now have only high deductible plans, your staff are no longer eligible for a medical FSA. Good morning.
Yeah, probably don't really need it anymore, I would think anyway.
Right, but we wanted to make sure that people have the ability to do the dependent care piece if they wanted to.
Sure.
That was important to me when my kids were little, that I had access to the FSA here. So we want to keep it. This is just cleaning all.
Sounds good.
Good morning.
In regards to, there may be limitations on that with the health account. I don't think you can contribute to both.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, right?
So we only want to keep this open for dependent care only. So there won't be a medical option for the FSA any longer.
So it's
That's-
closing out that.
Yeah.
That, yeah,
Yeah.
probably for the reason that you're thinking too, right?
Yeah.
We are on page 23 of the packet right now.
Okay,
No, it's fine.
Well, there's some trying to back into an honest driveway on Central Road.
Oh, no.
So I sat there for a few minutes.
Okay. So in the packet, we are now on page 25. It's page 23 of the personnel policy. This is all about the HSA.
Backside. Page 2 has the summary of everything up through.
One of the things we have recently learned is that the HSA account contributions cannot begin until the first of the month following your enrollment date. So when people work for us, they get health insurance on their first day of work. But their HSA can't start until the first day of the next month after they begin. So if we brought them on the 15th or something,
Sure.
their HSA contributions couldn't start until the first of the following month. So,
Thought we were doing just a one-time contribution.
I wondered about that too.
But you're talking about if they're doing a salary reduction.
any new employee that comes on and they want to make contributions to their HSA will not be able to start that until the first of the month. You're right, it's a one-time contribution. This- Yeah,
I mean,
so new staff, if, they want to start doing an HSA, which we are recommending that all staff do, they wouldn't be able to start making those contributions until the first of the month following their start date.
But they're eligible for insurance. upon
They're
hire.
eligible for insurance on hire.
you're eligible to open an HSA as soon as they're eligible for an HSA, high deductible health.
According to the IRS regulations and the research we did, they are not eligible unless they are enrolled in the high deductible health plan on the first date of that month. So if you begin on the first day of the month and you enroll on the first day of the month, then you would be eligible then. Other folks, if they didn't start on the first date of the month, according to the IRS regulations, they can't make that contribution until the first of the following month.
If we're wrong, let us know. We'd love to change this.
And we got down this rabbit hole because the software that we use won't allow us to do it any other way. And so the previous insurance company, Lighthouse, had indicated that, that's why the software is written that way, because it's an IRS regulation. And so I did some research and I I concluded that they were telling me the truth based on the IRS regulation.
But we do make a one-time contribution.
for current staff. But,
Correct, but
but new hires are not eligible for that based on the vote from last time we met.
Right, I do, or we talked about.
And maybe we'll want to revisit that. But that was the decision that we suggested at our last meeting.
Okay.
Okay, and the very final thing that's proposed to change is on page 48 of the personnel policies or page 50 of your packet. And this just clarifies the addition of a clerk that can collect these sign in, sign out logs during an emergency within the building. It was very specific. It only named 2 people
Mhm.
that work within the building. If those 2 people didn't happen to be at work that day, nobody else could officially grab the log. It's crazy. So and that is the end of the changes to the proposed. And the Personnel Policy Committee did meet on these changes and they're in agreement, so.
the only comment I would have back in regards to saving town and one of the things that we made sure to outline next county with ours, because we do make a contribution annually to all employees that belong to the HSA. Not the full funding amount. We put a disclaimer there that the employees need to take their own tax or, limitations and restrictions on those funds. So that's not our responsibility to make sure that they're spending them.
Right.
Or even contributing to that pursuant to the statute.
Would you like us to take that up as a change for the full board meeting today? Just to add a sentence to state that?
Under the HSA part,
Yeah. If we put something, the agency is not a tax professional, employees should pick their own, professional advice, contributions and expenditures from. And maybe we put that, because it applies to MSA too. Because that is a tax structured account regulated by the IRS as well. Employees should seek their own professional advice regarding contributions and expenditures from these accounts.
So place that sentence after the flexible spending account section as well as this HSA's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the statement you wanted added was employees should seek their own professional advice.
Regarding contributions and expenditures from,
expenditures, I would think, right?
no, contributions too.
Aren't we putting that in there for us?
Well, but they can make their own contributions too.
Oh, on their own, like a separate, like
Well, they
outside
could-
of their salaries. is that what you're
Right, they could do a salary reduction, or they could make their own contributions outside.
saying?
Not knowing your age, Commissioner, but an individual, once they hit 55, can make an extra $1,000 contribution to their HSA account. The contribution limit has increased incrementally every year.
Gotcha, so they can make a separate one. All right, sounds good.
The other thing is, if their spouse is covered, if their spouse is 55 or older, they can't make that extra $1,000 contribution to their account for their spouse. They have to open a separate account in their spouse's name, because an HSA account is on an individual only, so.
Okay.
But they can do that to get that extra $1,000. Yeah. So couple of, next year, 8,700. I think the HSA contribution limit.
750.
Okay, so a married couple that is both over 55 could contribute 10,750 to an HSA account. They can only put 9,750 in one, they have to put the other 1,000 in the other spouse's HSA account. Because you cannot put two names on an HSA account, just the
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, so
That
Just to
addition,
make sure I have this correct, you want added a sentence at both the health savings account section of the personnel policy and the flexible spending section, that employees should seek their own professional advice regarding contributions and expenditures for HSA and flex spending accounts.
should I say tax advice or just professional advice?
you can say professional. Right. I would leave it as professional because
All right, sounds good.
Last two bullets then.
Are we prepared to move this forward or recommend this?
I'll make a motion that we recommend this. Full term.
I'll support that. I don't know if we can hand off chair duties, but I took it over. Is that allowed to do?
do you want to hand off?
Sure, go ahead.
We moved out.
I'll support that.
Yeah, the motion and support to recommend the personnel policy with the recommended changes to the full board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. Up next, fiscal control policy on page 67 in the packet.
I'm just gonna let Teresa take this.
Yeah, so I had to make a change to the fiscal controls policy. Albeit it's a minor change, but it needs to be made. We no longer have a Walmart credit card, and we had a policy referred to in the financial controls policy on page 70 of the packet that indicated that it was a Walmart card. We no longer have that card, so we had to update the fiscal controls policy, which identifies it as a Walmart card policy. And then later in the packet, you will see on page 95, it's no longer the P card and Walmart card policy, it's just the credit card policy. And we've written off Walmart out of that policy. So those that change, and then there is an updated change chart of accounts. Your addendum A has been updated. The way it comes out of the system, I can't do track changes on it. But we eliminated accounts that we no longer use, and there are a couple of new accounts that we had to create. So that would be the only changes related to this fiscal controls policy. And I would point out that the footer at the bottom of the page has a different name. That name will revert back to just financial controls policy once it's approved.
Okay, I make a motion to approve those changes.
Support.
Have motion and support to approve the changes to the fiscal control policy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. And the environmental health pass-through fee schedule.
You wanna take this, Joan? I'll help you.
My best.
On page, starts on page 99.
Yeah.
Well, 98.
98, yeah. I didn't tell him he was gonna do this.
No. Swing and a miss. Never do a curveball. So this policy basically is implementing a change to the portal that we're using. There are some credit card fees that are associated with that. Wait,
This
This is pass through.
oh, this is the
This is just the state fees.
state fees. So state of Michigan changed the campground license fees and the way they collect that. And it used to be that we would collect the fee plus our inspection and then let the state know that we did X amount of campground fees, and then we would send that up there. They're no longer doing that. They're using MyEdWis, which is a state program that they have where the public will have to log into that, create an account, pay for their campground license or temporary campground license, and then have to come to us for the inspection, where we will collect just our fee. We're no longer collecting the state fee or anything like that. We just wanted to make sure that that was abundantly clear to the public and everyone else that could look at it, that, totally transparent. We're not.
So also, continue to collect for our food program the state portion of that fee. So that's on page 100. And you'll see that, and this is written into the food law, where the health department collects all of the fee every time from a facility during relicensure, and then we remit the state portion to the state. What we're asking, because the state changes their fees potentially on a yearly basis, and we don't always know when that's happening. We kind of do. And we may not necessarily be changing our local fee at the time that the state changes theirs. So what we're really asking for is permission when the state changes their fee. We don't need to bring it to the board every time. We can just make that change to our current fee schedule. Now, obviously, if there's a local change, that comes to you, back to Stevens, before I make any change to any local fee. So this policy is intended to clean up the temporary campground and then clarify that when there is a state fee assessed, we can make that change without having to bring it for the board for action. If that makes sense.
How often do we send up those fees then? Is it a quarterly process? Quarterly?
Yep. So they tabulate it all. They'll send us an invoice. We go back, check our records, and say, "Yep, and we do owe you X amount of money for those state surcharges," and we send that up.
Oh, good.
How much do we keep for us having to do their work for them?
Yeah, right.
Well, it depends on the license fee. To be completely honest, let's just use temporary food for example. It's $124, and the state charges $9 per surcharge for handing out the visa.
And so we don't keep any of that. We
Right.
send down
Send that.
all of the fee that we collect for them.
Yep.
So MELF, the Michigan Association for Local Public Health, has been, pushing back on the state for a very long time. We are not going to collect your fees anymore. So like when Body Art started, Body Art originally,
Yeah.
they've kind of wanted to do it the same way that food is done. And local public health said, no, we are not collecting your fees. You guys figure it out. We'll collect our inspection fee. We're on it. So we've been pushing back, but the food law is kind of a bit of a legacy, and it would take a law change.
Sure. They'd have to open that up, and there's no discussion of that currently. Right. I think what I understand.
Do I have a motion to approve the pass through fee schedule policy?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion? My comment that if you look at the state budget, whenever the state funds a department, let's say it's funding this department with this amount or this, okay. Every state department holds back a percentage of that fee for administrative costs in the agency. To me, it's unfair for them to say, you have to collect it, and send it all to us of our fee. They should pay us something for that.
Seems like it.
Okay.
You call that an administrative fee?
You know? All those in favor of sending it to the full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Now back to the environmental health convenience fee schedule, looks like we've got a change as to what the credit card processing and costing, so we're modifying our schedule surcharge because of that.
Joe, we'll let Teresa take this.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, I would like to take this one.
I appreciate that.
So, this deals with the convenience fee. So last time when we opened up the portal, we passed a convenience fee. And the way we calculated the convenience fee, our experience tells us is not correct. So, for example, if a permit costs $100, we calculated the convenience fee saying, okay, they're gonna charge us 2.9% plus 30 cents for a transaction fee. So we calculated the convenience fee based on $100 times 2.9% plus 30 cents. But that's not really what we're doing, because then we're running their credit card for $102.90. Okay. So the math just doesn't work. We weren't calculating it accurately, and we wanted to get a good picture before we brought it back. We realized it very early on, but we wanted to get a good understanding. So the second flaw to the way we were doing it would be that the convenience fee includes a 30-cent charge for every item. So if you get a well permit, it's 2.9% plus 30 cents for the transaction fee. But if you buy a well permit and a septic permit together, the credit card company only charges you one 30-cent transaction fee because it's one transaction. So when we spoke with our attorney about the convenience fee early on, he said we could only pass off expenditures. We can't make money on it. And we largely haven't, because we weren't charging enough, but we're charging too much with the 30 cents because people are doing it together. So the best option at this point is to calculate the fee based on the total amount with the 2.9%. So if the fee is $100, we add the 2.9%, we calculate what that would be, and that comes out to $102.90, which is the base fee. And then we take that and add it, that's charged to the customer. And we, the agency, pay the transaction fee, which equals 30 or 31 cents, depending on how the rounding works. So we would take on the responsibility for the 30 cents for each transaction. But the customer could then we could accurately calculate exactly what the 2.9% would be and make sure that we're charging the customer exactly the right amount. So that's what this policy is.
Pay the fee if somebody uses a debit card. In that,
I am not, I would imagine. I would.
I would think so too.
I don't think
most places that I know of,
I don't know.
there's no charge on debit.
I mean, a lot of the debit cards, so don't they run them as like credit cards?
I don't know if Square tells the difference. I think it just says put in your information, if I understand it correctly.
I think it can only, I don't think it can.
Because I remember having this conversation about debit versus credit.
Yep.
And it didn't matter. That's what I remember. So,
So I know many places, right? You want to pay with credit card, we're going to charge you our processing, you know that.
I do.
But if you pay with debit card, they don't.
well,
Because I could say that, I'm sorry, if, let's get get rid of the credit card, making the credit card company's version and say, use your debit card, pay with a check, do an ACH transaction.
I don't think it allows them to run the debit card through the system.
it runs it as a credit.
It only runs
I think
credit.
so. I would think so.
The
I
way
mean,
it's set.
just when I did the test, it didn't give me an option. It was just credit.
Just credit.
That would make the most sense to me.
Do I have a motion to recommend to the full board the updated fee schedule? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Carried. Next is the West Michigan Health Insurance Pool Resolution. for membership, we're naming a trustee and an alternate to the Washington Health Insurance Pool. The requirement of joining the pool, with the requirement of what you've done. Take note that it is a 3-year membership in the pool.
Teresa provided a link to the document that's referenced in this agreement.
I think there's actually 2 documents. There's the trust agreement and the file. There are 2 documents.
And I merged them and put them together. They're available on our website.
And make a motion to approve the West Michigan Health Insurance Pool Resolution.
Support?
Have a motion and support. My only comment is, I think that this being a tri-county agency with elected officials appointed to oversee the agency, my personal belief is that one of the elected officials should be the trustee appointed to the West Michigan Health Insurance Pool. I have not confirmed if I can or not, because I was just named on Monday. It's so cool. And I have not, and again, it's just my personal belief that something like that, it could be, and what we did is name, so I was the trustee or finance director or alternate.
The only thing, I think when you have a county administrator or, an ISD superintendent, where some of these programs also occur, that chief executive often is named as the trustee. We'll do it however you guys wish. You change every year.
No, we are here for 2 years.
No, but the
The contract.
chair changes.
Right.
So that would be the only thing that, Teresa and I had this conversation as well. I do think the chief executive is most often named when one exists. So,
My opinion is, we are the elected officials.
Mhm.
Too often, we wanna just advocate our responsibility. And the meetings are, the trustee meetings are held remote. There's one coming up
Hello.
soon. I need to get with Chris, he talked about that whoever's name will be able to attend, but won't have any voting. Just to see.
If I could, I did speak with Chris after I talked to you about this. And he did indicate to me that most generally it is not an elected county commissioner or board member that serves as that role. It is most generally whoever the head of the organization is.
Yeah, the 3-year term is the thing that, or the 3-year period, I guess, is the thing for me, just because, yes, we are here for 2 years, but the leadership does change, and in 2 years, we could be off.
Well, and I have seen resolutions from multiple other counties regarding this, and once they get into that trustee designation can be changed at any time. And
Sure, there's gotta be an allowance for that, I'm sure.
yes, and once you get through that first 3-year period, then you switch to an annual membership. So you're voting on that trustee and membership every year as well. Any further discussion? Hearing none. We have more on the floor to submit the full membership resolution for the full board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Public comment. We have a full board meeting in a few minutes.
A few minutes.
About 24 minutes.
Hearing none. I want to send a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carried.
We got everyone.